Hey everybody, welcome back. So this activity got a little complicated on me and I'm going to do my best to describe what happened, but if worse comes to worse, the link is in the description. So if you just want to grab the activity and pull a slide from it and use it for yourself, that's great. So what I'm doing here is my students are working on elimination and I wanted them to have random elimination problems given for them. The problem is that I don't want any special cases, so I don't want any no solution or infinite solutions. I just want ordered pair stuff. So the problem is, what if the two equations that are generated are the same line? My students don't know what to do, and that's not what I want. We're not there yet. So it took a little finagling for me to figure out the simplest way to make sure that the equations were different. So let's get started, and when we get to that point, I'll show you what I did. All right, so I am going to, I will need a note that will give them the equation and the directions. I need a note to give them feedback. If you don't want the students to know if they're right or wrong, don't put that second note in. I need a place for them to put their answer, okay? And we'll come back to a button later. I always do that at the end. Okay, so I'm going to label this as note 1, and my math input will be math 1. Okay, so I'm going to go into my note computation layer here, and this will be generated random. I feel like I'm doing a lot of random stuff, but once I get this down, it actually makes my life so much easier because I just copy and paste, and now I can make like 300 slides if I want. So that's nice. So we have our random generator set up. Now the way my equations will be, the format, I'm going to do ax plus by equals c will be the one, and the other one will be a, b, c, d, we're at d, x plus ey equals f. I'm just going to let x equal any random integer between -9 and 9, and same with y. So this will be the answer. Okay, now A, B, C, or A, B, D, and E got a little complicated on me. So here's what I decided to do. I decided that the coefficients of x and y, so for one set, for one variable, they'll be the same sign, but for the other variable, there'll be a different sign. So that led me to 8 different options, which isn't as bad as it sounds. So let me show you my spreadsheet here. So here are the different options. So this is like, they're going to be in standard form. You saw my format here. So this is a positive x, a positive y, a positive x, a negative y, positive, positive, negative, positive. So when I'm looking at my format here, this is my A, my B, my D, and my E, and all 8 possibilities. So I listed those out. And then over here, I have it, where are those variables, well, they're not variables, where are those numbers positive? So A is positive in 1, 2, 3, 4, and I highlighted those in yellow, because over here they're negative. B is positive in 1, 2, 5, and 6. So 1, 2, oops, B, 1, 2, nope, nope, yes, yes, nope, nope. So I just went through and used those. So that will show up now. So I'm going back to this, and what I want to do is I want to randomly pick a number from 1 to 8. So I'm just going to call it, I called it opposite sign. Op sign will equal a random integer from 1 to 8. Okay, so now A, so the A that's in this part of the equation, will equal when A is positive, I'm going to pick a number from 2 to 9, but when A is negative, I'm going to pick a number from -9 to -2. So A is positive in options 1, 2, 3, and 4. So when opposite sign equals 1, or opposite sign equals 2, or opposite sign equals 3, or opposite sign equals 4. The parentheses are for me, just so I have a visual separation of what the heck's going on here. So when that happens, looking back at this, so when A is positive, here, 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 and here, then I want it to pick a random integer from 2 to 9. Otherwise, if one of those other options show up, 5, 6, 7, or 8, that means A is negative. So otherwise, I want it to pick a random integer from -9 to -2. I hope that's not terribly confusing. B is very similar, so I'm just going to copy this. But now my 4 numbers are different. B is positive at 1, 2, 5, and 6. So I'm going to change this to 1, 2, 5, and 6. So there's B. C is going to be the result I get when I take A times X plus B times Y. So let's do that. It's the numerical value. Let's open and close quotation marks right away. And now we're going to do that weird notation. I need some hand signals for that. So weird notation. I'm looking right here and I'm just copying all of that. A times weird notation X plus weird notation B times weird notation Y. And that will be the value of C. Okay, so we did this one. Now we have to do similar things for D, E, and F. Okay, so D equals, again, let's grab this, copy and paste it here. Let's go back and look at D, where D is positive. 1, 3, 6, and 8. So I'm going to change this. 1, 3, 6, and 8. Okay. E, same thing. Let's look up those numbers. It's over here. 2, 3, 6, 7. 2, 3, 6, 7. 2, 3, 6, 7. Okay? And F will equal, it's very similar to this. So I'm going to copy that part and put it here. F is equal to dx plus ey. So we're going to change this to dx plus ey. Okay. So now I have all my numbers. I have A, B, C, D, E, F, X, and Y. They're all accounted for. So now I want to start building the equations. So equation 1, that will equal, this will be a when otherwise statement. So again, this plus sign, like I need a plus sign to show up if B is positive, and I need nothing to show up if B is negative, because if B is negative, the negative will look like the minus sign. So when B is positive, so when B is greater than 0, I'm going to use these. There is the button next to the number 1, right to the left of it. And I want it, that will give us our math font. That will give us the pretty math font that we want. So I need AX, so I want the value of A to show up. Oops. X plus B, weird notation for the B, Y equals weird notation for C. Okay? Otherwise, that means, oh, I hit the wrong. Otherwise, that means B is negative. So again, I'm going to save myself some time here. I'm going to copy that, paste it, and then delete the plus sign. Because if B is negative, that will show up as the minus sign. All right, equation 2 is very similar. I'm pretty sure I'm about to sneeze. So I'm just going to copy all of this and paste it and call this equation 2. But now it's not B, we're looking at this one, we're dealing with E this time. So if E is greater than 0, and what do I have here? It's D, E, and F. So let's change this. D, E, and F. Same thing down here. D, E, and F. Actually, this isn't as terrible as I thought it would be. Okay. So now I want to put some stuff in the note, some content. I'm going to tell them to solve the system of equations. And I'm going to put a little colon, and when I press enter, it will actually show up on the next line. So first I want them to see equation 1. And then I'm going to press enter so that right below it I see equation 2. And then close your quotation marks. Now, when I'm testing this out, I also have it display X and Y so that I can see the equation, solve it for myself, and make sure that everything is working out correctly. Okay. Now, here's where I ran into a little bit of trouble. Actually, I'm going to get some student input from the math input. So I'm just going to call it input is equal to parse ordered pair. So this is where it will recognize that the students need to write an ordered pair. Where is this coming from? It's coming from the math input we labeled math 1. And I used LaTeX, but I'm wondering if I should have used something else. So those of you who know this better than me, which is quite a few of you I would imagine, tell me if there's an easier way to do this, because now it's turning it into like text, not numerical stuff, because I had to do an extra thing here. So I'm going to say that the student X, so SX, equals this input dot the X value. So it's going to take that ordered pair and grab the X. Then I want to do the same thing with the Y, the student Y value, so SY equals input dot Y. Those are not numerical values right now, and I believe it has to do with LaTeX. What if I change that? Oh gosh, do I really want to experiment in front of you all? Nope. Let's go back. I don't know if that's the output or the input that's LaTeX. So we'll just, you know what, we'll go with what worked here for me. So right now, if I try to check that their X value that they put in matches this X value, and same with the Y, I'm going to get an error. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So if I try to do my check here, that the X that's given equals the X that the students give, and the Y that's randomly generated matches that, you see we have an error message, and it's saying that they're different types. One's numerical and the other one's not. So I'm going to go with, instead of student X, SX, I'm going to go STX, student X, will now equal the numeric value of this. So here I'm going to change it to a number. I'm going to do the same thing with Y. STY equals the numeric value of SY. So down here, I'm checking to make sure that the X that's randomly generated matches the X that the students are giving, and I changed it to a numeric value, and same thing with the Y. So now my error messages are gone, everything's matchy-matchy, everybody's happy. All right, what I am gonna do, I'm gonna cheat here. In the content, I am gonna have it give the answer. And then I'm gonna put X, comma, Y. So that way I don't actually have to solve the system to check my work. See if it worked out for me. Okay. We have that much. So if I preview it now, we can see we have our system of equations. We're told what the answer is. I would delete that before I give it to the students. Okay? But right now we don't get any feedback. Let's make sure we get some feedback. Let's go down here to the math input computation layer. So I'm going to grab that check variable from the other component. So I'm just going to name it the same thing, equals. It's coming from note1 dot script. And which variable do you want to bring over? I'm going to bring over check. All right, here's what I want displayed then. Oops. When check happens, I want to give them some great, positive feedback. Otherwise, that means they got it wrong, and some helpful feedback. So let's put that in. Here is the feedback if you get it right. Oh, gosh darn it. I'm thinking of the note. Forget that. All we have to do in this component is put correct if check happens. So let's check. Here we go. The answer is -5, -3. The teacher now knows it's correct. So at this point, if you're like, nope, I don't want the students to know this is an assessment, then stop right here. Well, we'll delete that. But before we do, now I'm going to go into the note component and do a very similar thing. Let's pull over this variable from that first note. So check equals note1.script.check. All right, now what I want displayed when check happens, we want this feedback, otherwise we want this feedback. My emojis. I don't know why it does that. It's like scrolled all the way down. And then it doesn't insert it. Okay, so now the content of my note will be, is this correct? And then I want either the check mark or the X to display. So let's see what that looks like. Okay, so students do the work and they find out the answer is 3-9. Yes, yes. Okay, very good. All right, I'm going to go into the note and make sure that I delete that the answer is showing. So I'm just going to grab it from here in this content and I'm going to delete that. So now the answer won't show up anymore. I'm also going to add a spot for them to show their work. So I'm going to add a sketch and I want it on this side, so I'm just going to click and drag it over here to the right. And this will mess up my teacher feedback if I don't tell it to read only. So read only, true. Okay, so now that's what this looks like. They can show their work here. And then finally, if you want them to review forever and ever and ever, well, let's copy and paste this a bunch. So I want them to do, let's say 3 problems, just normal, so I'm copying and pasting. 4th screen, I'm going to say, let's make this an infinite thing. So I'm going to add a button, and I'm going to put directions here that say get new system. I'm going to label this button, button 1, actually button 4, because it's screen 4. And then back in my note here, where all the guts of this is, up in the top, here in parentheses, I'm going to put button 4 dot press count, and now this is infinite. So the students can practice forever and ever. Actually, I don't like the button there. I would probably move that. Let's put it here. There, I like that better. And now the way that this is set up, you can see that in this case here, these have the same sign, these have different signs, so they'll never be the same line. Same, different, different, same. So that worked out well for us. So I don't have to worry about special cases here. Every answer will be an ordered pair. Okay, so if you like this, drop me a line. If you know a way to do this better or smoother, please drop me a line and we'll pass that along. All right, everybody, I hope this was somewhat helpful. Have a great day.